Racism, from the times of To Kill a Mockingbird to today. Ever since the African people were first used as slaves, they have been treated like they weren't fully human. They were beaten, starved, and killed. As time passed on, some people started to see the truth. They were just like anybody else, but with a different skin color. People like the fictional character Atticus Finch from Harper Lee's novel To Kill a Mockingbird, and real people from our history like Martin Luther King Jr. started fighting for the rights of the African American people. Through the efforts of people like these, we have greatly advanced as a people in destroying racism everywhere. But yet, through all the efforts, it still occurs. Today, most people think of everybody as their equal. In my life, I have friends that are of all different races. It doesn't matter whether or not they look like me or not. They are my friends because I see them as any other human being. Everybody is respected today. Nobody is left behind or shunned because of their race. In the novel To Kill a Mockingbird, African Americans are treated with much disrespect. This is shown various times, but in one instance, Calpurnia, the maid of the Finch family, said it was hard on Helen because she had to walk nearly a mile out of her way to avoid the Ewells, who, according to Helen, chunked at her the first time she tried to use the public road. In this passage, Helen Robinson, an African-American woman, is chunked at or harassed every time she walks by the Ewell property. The Ewells are considered the filth of Macomb's population, and Mr. Ewell is extremely racist. Something like this would rarely almost never happen in today's society. Africans and other minorities aren't only thought of as equals today, but they are also given equal opportunities. All people are given equal opportunities today. It is actually the law that regardless of race, gender, religion, or any other characteristic, employers must give all potential employees equal opportunity to get a job. Back in the times that Harper Lee describes in her novel, African Americans were hardly given jobs at all, specifically because of their skin color. In the novel, it was almost impossible for an African American to find a job. The only person who really hired African Americans was a man named Link Dees. Link had a farm, and he hired African Americans to work on it. Tom Robinson, the man who was wrongly accused of rape, killed while escaping prison, and the husband to Helen Robinson, was hired by Link Dees, and when Tom died, Mr. Link Dees made a job for Helen. He didn't really need to, but he said he felt right bad about the way things turned out. Another example of people being given equal opportunities today is that I have a job as a soccer referee, and people of many different races work with me and have higher positions and more authority than I do. Taking it a step further, today it is considered normal for there to be interracial marriages. Nowadays, it is perfectly acceptable for there to be interracial marriages. There are not only relationships between blacks and whites, but every other race as well. In the novel, it is a very bad thing for a white person to be in a relationship with an African American. Mr. Raymond, a white person who is considered a drunk and who has a relationship with a black woman, says, "When I come to town, which is seldom, if I weave a little and drink out of this sack, folks can say Dolphus Raymond's in the clutches of whiskey. That's why he won't change his ways. He can't help himself. That's why he lives the way he does." This is his response when he tells the main characters of the novel, Scout, Jem, and Dill, that he never drinks alcohol. He only pretends to as an excuse so people understand why he is in a relationship with an African American woman and has mixed children. The people of Macomb would never consider him a monster, if he told them he likes the way he lives today. Today, Mr. Raymond's situation would be considered normal. Also, my dad is fully American or white, and he has married my mom, who is completely Central American, and nobody would look twice if they saw them walking down the street holding hands. In To Kill a Mockingbird, racism was a very big problem. In my life, I've seen only one account of racism, and the person who was being racist got in a lot of trouble, and there were big consequences for them. We have come a long way from the times when slavery and racism were a common sight. Today, everybody is given equal opportunities, interracial marriages, Interracial marriages are normal, and all people are seen as people, not by the color of their skin. Hopefully we can continue to progress and someday completely eradicate racism from our world. When this happens, the world will be a much cleaner place. Thank you.